I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. At this time, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Dr. Eugene Westlake. Thank you. Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All requirements of the Open Public Business Meetings Law have been met for this meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Oradell. Notice of this meeting was filed with the Borough Clerk, posted in Borough Hall and the Oradell Public Library. Faxed to the Record, N-Town News, and all persons requesting such notice. Would anybody like to volunteer to read the mission statement? Okay.
The Oradell Public School is dedicated to the ongoing pursuit of educational excellence through comprehensive, innovative curriculum and instruction. The district is committed to providing opportunities for social, emotional, and academic discovery to foster curiosity, courage, and character. Our goal is to prepare our students to become lifelong learners who are self-directed, resilient, productive, and responsible citizens.
At this point in the meeting, we will allow public comment on reorganization session items numbers 7 through 14 only. Please remember to state your full name and address each time you address the board, as well as sign in with this information. Will the first person wishing to be heard please step forward? Seeing none. Board Secretary report on election results. On Tuesday, November 5th, 2019, the annual school board election for the Oradell Public School District was held. Voting was conducted for 3 seats to the Board of Education, each for a 3-year term. The results of the election were as follows. Mr. John Walsh, 964. Mrs. Dorothy Nichols, 996. Dr. Eugene Westlake, 874. Mr. Joseph Blundo, 674. The candidates elected were Mr. John Walsh, Mrs. Dorothy Nichols, and Dr. Eugene Westlake to 3-year terms. A copy of these results will be entered into the official minutes of this meeting. The elected candidates may now step to the microphone and they will be administered the oath of office. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, John Walsh,
Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, and I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1 nor disqualified due to a conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A:12-1,
Nor disqualified due to the conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJS 18A:12-1.
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
And I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of that office
perform all the duties of that office
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God. Congratulations. At this point, I'll take roll call. Mr. Darian?
Here.
Mr. Griffin?
Here.
Mrs. Levy?
Here.
Mrs. Norian?
Here.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Here.
Mrs. Walker? Mr. Walsh?
Here.
Mrs. Nichols?
Here.
At this time, I would like to open up the nomination for President of the Board of Education.
Not for president.
I think I can nominate you.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank God for president.
Read this thing.
Do we raise our hands? We just go.
You can just go.
All right, you go first.
Okay. I nominate Dorothy Watson Nichols for president.
Second.
Are there any other nominations for the President of the Board of Education? Okay. At this time, I'll take a roll call. Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
This is roll call?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
yes. Sorry.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Abstain.
Abstain.
You don't have to.
Abstain, I guess.
I, John Mamora, Board Secretary, ask Mrs. Nichols to take their seat as president.
Thank you, Mr. Marmora. Okay, would anyone like to make a nomination for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Greg Darian for the position of Vice President.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any other nominations? Let's call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
I'll abstain.
Ms. Nichols?
Yes. Moving to the Code of Ethics. We'll do what we normally do. Each of us will take one paragraph and go around. We'll start with Mr. Griffin, and then we'll head this way, and I think some people have to double up. You want to start us, Mr. Griffin, with?
Yes.
I will
Code of
uphold.
Ethics.
Yeah.
It is hereby moved that the board adopts the following code of ethics developed by New Jersey School Board Association as the code to which each Oradell board member subscribes.
I will uphold and enforce all laws, state board rules and regulations, and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes should be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures.
I will make decisions in terms of the educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
I will confine my board action to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
I will carry out my responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with my fellow board members to see that they are well-run.
I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action which may compromise the board.
I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interests or partisan political groups or to use the school for personal gain for the gain of friends.
I will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals or the schools. But in all other matters, I will provide accurate information and, in concert with my fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its schools.
I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief School Administrative Officer.
I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties.
I will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act on the complaints at public meetings only, after failure of an administrative solution.
So Mr. Griffin moved the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Norian. Any questions or comments? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Beebe?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. It's up to the board. Would someone like to make a motion for consent, a consent motion for number 7 through 14, or do we want to go through each one separately?
I'll offer consent motion.
For number 7 through
7
14?
through
I'll
14.
second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions on number 7 through 14?
7 through 14.
Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Beebe?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Does anybody feel they need a break, or can we go right into our public session? Okay, we'll keep moving then. Let's do a roll call.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Beebe?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Here.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Here.
Mr. Walsh?
Here.
Mr. Darian?
Here.
Mrs. Nichols?
Here. And this time we'll open to the public for agenda items only. Okay, moving forward. I would like to read the resolution for Dr. Westlake, but before we get into that, we have an open board seat, which we need to fill. It's 65 days from the day Dr. Westlake passed, so I believe today is about day 25. So we have about 30 days. So what is our, I wanted to look at these meetings. So I don't know if we would have to interview at the January 22nd or February 12th meeting. We'd have to look into see if we make it for the January 12th. I mean, the February 12th. I don't know if that's too far out. We may just make it.
We would just make it, I think, because I think the 15th is the 65th day.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So if you could post an ad on the website, post an ad upstairs, send an email to all the parents, I guess post an ad in the library and town hall like we always do, and if anyone has anywhere else they would like it to be. Yes, same as normal.
Should be on
And
the
we'll
town-
interview at,
Should be on the town website, too.
Yeah.
we're separate legal. It'll go into town hall,
But
but
there's just saying there's an open, if anybody's interested.
Can we,
Because we're really caught short, right? This is 6th, and we have to meet by the January 12th?
February.
Yeah, there's time.
Yeah, we have plenty of time, and we should put a deadline for the resumes too at some point, so we can maybe see them ahead of time. So maybe at least a week before our meeting, we should have the deadline, maybe a week and a half before or something?
So will it be the same procedure like when I was appointed in ye olden days? Where we get the resumes?
Yep.
Or like a paragraph or whatever it was?
Right, whatever someone wants to submit.
Before, and then people come, and then we appoint, and it would just
And
be
then we'll interview?
we interview here.
Uh-huh.
That's what our policy is.
Okay.
So.
And then it would
that's-
be just through the term, and then if that person
Right,
wanted
so
to
then
stay,
the
would have
person
to
we
run
appoint is
It
through,
actually doesn't run through the term, it only runs till
The
next
year,
year.
right.
And then that
That's what it
person would
was
have
when
to
I-
run again
I
to
think when I
complete
came
the
on.
term.
so next year we'll have 4 open seats for the election, 3 3-years and 1 2-year.
Right.
Okay.
Just to clarify, if you don't, so when we interview them is that public or?
It's public,
That
but
is
we will go
public.
into closed session to decide
To decide, and we decide that day.
that day, and we
Okay.
appoint that day.
Okay, thank you.
So everyone's good with February 12th? It'll give people time, and it doesn't have to be a resume. It can be, a personal statement, interest. It could be nothing. They can just come and interview, whatever they want to do. They just want to put their names into, whatever the
When I did it,
candidate
it
wants
was
to do
it was a I think we
Whatever
wrote
they
a paragraph.
feel comfortable
of
with.
background or something like that.
So if people know anybody who want to run, one person reached out to me already, so that's a good sign. I don't know if Mr. Blundo's going to apply, but hopefully somebody will apply.
Hopefully, there's good interest. The salary.
Salary was good.
Salary is good. Benefits are good.
Compensations.
So, okay. Mr. Mormora was kind enough to put together a resolution for Dr. Westlake that I was just going to read now for him, and we will approve it in our regular, through the regular agenda process, but I just wanted to read this for Dr. Westlake. Resolution of heartfelt appreciation honoring Dr. Eugene Westlake. Whereas Dr. Eugene Westlake served the citizens of his community as a member of the Oradell Board of Education since 2003, most recently serving on the Finance and Technology and Tri-District Shared Services Committees. Whereas Dr. Westlake also served the Belleville, Northern Valley, Paramus, Riverdale Regional, High School, Tenafly School District, as well as other districts as an English teacher, guidance counselor, assistant principal, principal superintendent, and interim superintendent for 40 years. Whereas Dr. Eugene Westlake also served as the Bergen County representative to the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association, which was responsible for establishing rules and regulations governing school athletic activities, and as president of the Friends of Riverdale program, which provides funds for student facilities and scholarships. Whereas Dr. Eugene Westlake has always earned the respect and admiration of his colleagues, students, and community. Whereas Dr. Eugene Westlake used his skills as an educator, school board member, and generous and caring individual to help thousands of students throughout northern New Jersey. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Oradell Board of Education expresses its deep appreciation to Dr. Eugene Westlake for his exemplary service to the children of the borough of Oradell and the state of New Jersey. So I thought that was a really nice thing you put together, John. So we appreciate you doing that for him. Also, thank you to Rita for getting flowers, as always. They were beautiful, right?
It was a beautiful tribute.
It was. A lot of people.
I would say over 500 people were there. Some people so emotionally moved by their contact with Gene over the years and all he did for them. And the family was just stellar in their receiving for over 5 hours, close to 5 hours, as gracious as can be. So it was a beautiful send-off and tribute, and this certainly reflected that, John. Thank you for doing that.
And just before we move on, also, in other news, sad news, as the board knows, Dr. Ansel will be leaving us. This is our first meeting after he let the board know, so we will be going to closed session for a little while so we can talk to Dr. Ansel, but we appreciate everything you have done for us. I mean, we're going to be here still for a while. We can drive you crazy for a few more weeks, but we do appreciate everything you've done for us, and we wish you continued success and good luck.
Thank you.
And hopefully you'll miss us. So with that, we'll move to a report.
Okay, thank you, and Happy New Year to all of the board. I just have a couple of quick items. First, the total student enrollment as of December 30th, 2019 was 766. The student attendance rate for the month of December 2019 was 95.17. In addition, I also wanted to point out to the board that under the administrative items this evening, you're going to be asked to affirm the HIB decisions for 5 reports that were presented to you at our last regular meeting. And that's all that I have for right now.
Thank you. Business Administrator's report.
Thank you. So I would just like to report that the audit for the 2018-2019 school year has been completed, and we look to have Mr. Jeffrey Bliss from our auditors, Lurch, Vincent Higgins, here to present at our next board meeting on January 22nd. And then if I could just say a little something about Dr. Westlake myself. So I had the pleasure of working with Dr. Westlake on a day-to-day basis when I started my career in public education finance with Paramus as a district accountant there. He was the interim superintendent. So I just always remember him with a smile on his face, very approachable, always willing to share his knowledge, and just an all-around caring and very nice person. And then I got to come full circle and get to work with him as a board member, and it's been a very rewarding experience getting to know him, so he'll be missed.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the minutes. Review of December 11th. Any comments or questions, please email our business administrator. Approval for November 13th. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve November 13th minutes.
I have a question.
Wait, do I have a second?
Oh, second.
Second from Mrs. Walker. Question?
Question is, I had some edits I submitted to the business office today, actually, kind of late. I would like to only approve this with those edits. Is it too late, or can we?
Table.
You can say what they are, and then we can.
Okay.
If you want to say what they are,
Yeah.
because it's for November 13th, right?
Shared with the rest of the board.
I'm saying he can say what they are
Well,
now.
I'd
If we
just
want
like
to
to
make
amend
or do you want to just table
the
it?
motion.
You want to table it for next time?
Either that, or I could just amend it right now. I'm ready.
Okay, why don't you tell us what it says and
Sure.
what you're changing it to?
I'd like to amend the motion to include the following. This refers to comments about myself. The first original sentence says, he, meaning me, commented the architect, administration, and construction staff. That should be changed to, he, meaning me, commented that he was pleasantly surprised with the faculty room's partition wall, and commended the administration for the idea, the architect for selecting the company, and the vendor who installed it. So basically, just to summarize, I was talking about the facility construction down in the basement, and in particular, I referenced the partition wall and how it exceeded my expectations. And I had said that the administration, the construction company, the staff, they all did a good job with that partition wall. But what ended up in the minutes, the partition wall subject was not included, and it was just, I commended the architect, the administration, and the construction staff. When, I'm not comfortable with a blanket statement like that. So that's my amendment. If you want to approve it based on those comments, or we can table this for later, it's up to you.
So is everyone clear on that? Is everyone okay with that amendment?
Yes.
So we will,
Change my motion to include Greg's comments.
okay, so let's do the roll call as amended.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norrie?
Yes.
Mr. Pura?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Mrs. Walker, would you like to take 13? Do we have to vote on this? We're going to vote on this resolution, right? We're not? We're not going to vote on it? Okay.
What's that?
All right.
So we're good?
The-
I didn't know if we had to vote on it. We don't have to, so we'll keep moving.
Can other people make
Sure,
comments
absolutely.
at this point?
Mhm.
Or because I'll tell you, my experience with Dr. Westlake has been through a number of the situations that were referred to. I was on the Riverdale board when he was interim superintendent there, and we've been close colleagues for a long period of time, and we actually shared a love of Leo Biscaglia. So I think that it's only fitting that tonight we have a little Leo quote. And for Dr. Westlake, I know for certain that we never lose the people we love, even to death. They continue to participate in every act, thought, and decision we make. Their love leaves an indelible imprint in our memories. We find comfort in knowing that our lives have been enriched by having shared their love. And I thought that going forward, we should remember Dr. Westlake and his love of Leo Biscaglia and his love of the children of Oradell.
Thank you,
That was
Catherine.
nice.
Anyone else?
Is the meeting over yet?
I've been dreading coming tonight, not because I don't want to see all of you lovely people, but I knew that there would be a hole right here next to me. Dr. Westlake was my seat buddy for all of my years that I'm sitting here, and some of you would see when I would get here and he would rush to pull my seat out for me, and he would be upset if I sat down and he didn't get the chance to pull the chair out for me. And it was our special little game, and I'm gonna miss him so much. I always thought of him as E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, people listen. And, it was really a pleasure getting to know him, and it's tough having this empty seat next to me.
I'd like to comment that, we're going to miss Gene. Gene had a wealth of experience, and I just remember countless times we would be discussing something in closed session, usually something, very important from a board's perspective, and we would always say, Gene, what do you think? And, Gene always had a lot to say. We didn't always agree, but we always knew that, he was speaking from experience. And it's just difficult when we don't have that now. So, Gene, you hear us, yell and scream or scribble something on the board downstairs.
Right.
It's already gone too long for him, so.
Yeah, exactly. I think the responsibility is now on us to carry on what he gave us.
Okay. Moving on, administrative. Mr. Darren, you want to take that?
Yeah. Where are we? I'm lost track.
Right there.
Oh, okay. I'd like to introduce items A for administrative items. HIB report.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mr. Darren?
Yes.
Yes. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Darien.
Yeah, a quick update from our last meeting. We did not meet before the end of the year with the holidays and all the activities. We weren't able to squeeze in a last-minute meeting, but we do have one scheduled for tomorrow afternoon, and we'll be going through the usual items that we've been dealing with for the past several weeks, mostly construction punch list items for downstairs with the new construction. So updates will be provided in next meeting's minutes. With that, I'd like to introduce items B1 for facility use.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Curriculum, Mrs. Norian?
We also were not able to meet, but hopefully we will have something set up in the future. Currently, I'd like to present C1, approval of a field trip,
C2.
and C2, sorry.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy? Yes. Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Finance, Technology, Mrs. Shapiro?
So Finance will be meeting next week, January 15th. It's budget time, time to start thinking about next year. And you've already started. So we're looking forward to working on that this evening. I have a number of items to introduce, but first I'd like to highlight D9. Look at all of those wonderful things that PTA mini grants have provided to our students. So we thank PTA for all of that. I'd like to make a motion to approve items D1 through D10.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any
Aye.
questions?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment, D8.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
thank
did I
you
miss one?
to the Driscoll family for
Oh,
the,
yeah,
for the
I saw
television.
that, and then I didn't make a note. Thank you for that.
Must be a good TV.
Thank you for catching that.
We're so fortunate. I mean, really, if you think about it, the PTA mini grants, other grants that we receive, the volunteerism, just the PTA in general, and their activities, the fundraising, just the community and as a whole. We're really lucky. I mean, you know, I know we're the only school in town, so it's kind of like a town/school/ you know, kind of patriotic type thing. But it's nice, and it's, you know, it's working, and you know, the kids of course benefit from it. So, thanks.
They were former students, too.
Yep, that's true. Yeah.
Yep.
And the OK Kids, too, which is a
Yes.
community
That's right. I'm
run.
sorry I left them out.
Very blessed.
And Rotary for
Yeah.
fountains. Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes to all, abstain on D9.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Delegate report, Mr. Walsh?
I have nothing to report as far as the delegate, but the judges' course is coming up for Odyssey of the Mind. So it's this month, and
When is it?
I think I want to say it's the 25th, but I'd have to take a look.
Is it after our next meeting? When is it? Okay, so we're going to have to add a motion, which we already went through finance, so maybe we'll do it under new business? Okay, so we'll add a motion under new business. Personnel, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to present F1 and 2, and also in F1, I want to share with sorrow for Dr. Ansel and his leaving, and thank him for all the service he's shown to the school and the kind, caring attitude shown toward the children and the concern he had for the district itself. Thank you, Dr. Ansel.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions?
I have a question.
Mrs. Levy?
In regards to F2, once we approve that, when will it become public with our minutes tonight, or?
We'll post it right away.
Okay.
And then we usually get some questions as soon as it goes up.
I will let you know that I was I've been tight-lipped and had no idea, but everybody has been asking. It's like ask a board member, maybe they'll tell you if we're starting before or after Labor Day next year. And I told them that their guess was as good as mine, but anyway, I know that there's a lot of talk out there as to what we're doing. Thank you.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Daring?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Policy, Mrs. Levy?
Yes, thank you. So we did not meet at the end of last year because we had successfully completed our tasks. You'll see that we're offering for a second reading the fundraising activities and the memorials and dedications and the money in school buildings. I also noticed everybody should have had it in the packet from the last meeting. However, I wondered if maybe we could just send it around again, Dr. Ansel, if that's possible, just so people have it for now. I also noticed in our packet for the fundraising request and approval forms, so normally it was the intent that we would receive these prior to the event happening as the board, or just as long as those who approved it had it beforehand?
So the procedure was going to be to make sure that they went into the next board packet after I get them.
Okay, perfect. So you also notice that in our packet there were some approval forms, one of which I think had already happened. But anyway, and with that, that's it. Thank you.
Wait.
Do I have a second?
A question.
Yeah, but Mr. Walsh made a second?
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Just about the policies, you were asking that they be circulated again, or I was confused.
This is a second reading.
Yes.
And I know with the first reading, they were included in our packet.
Right.
And I was just saying in case anybody.
Oh, because they're on the website under policies for review.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I have them all. I was
Okay.
just saying if anybody
Okay.
needed to see them again or wanted to have a copy if they didn't have them, since we were
Yeah.
doing a second reading and adoption, that was it. But other than that, I then move G1.
And Mr. Walsh gave the second. Mrs. Walker?
So on that note, then maybe we could revise, it's up to you, Mrs. Levy, but for anyone who might want a hard copy, otherwise we'll need another hard copy if it's already on the website, correct? Is that good with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Noreen?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Daring?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Public relations, Mr. Griffin?
Yeah, the meeting minutes are in your packet from this last time, but I would draw to your attention to the board brochure that we put together. It's there'll be minor changes each year whenever we change names here, but that will be the format that we'll use for the beginning of the year or whenever. So take a look at it. Let us know if you have any questions.
So that's not going to print yet, right? If people have
Yeah,
comments or anything?
I have comments, so who should I have a couple of comments, so should I bring it to
You can send
to you?
them to me.
Okay.
That's fine.
I do too.
Perfect. The other thing that's going on right now for PR is the winter newsletter is being put together right now. If you have any story ideas, feel free to send them to me and I'll get them to the right folks. The idea is to get it out by like February 13th. So, and that's the report.
Thank you. Open to the public?
Megan Bozius, President, Oradell Administrators Association. I sit at a lot of meetings, a lot over the past 8 years, and I've heard a lot lately about building approachability, and that to me means that you are trying to maintain open lines of communication with stakeholders, and I've heard all about that with parents. You just approved a calendar that's not been shown to the OAA president or the OEA president. That's in both of our contracts. I didn't say something prior to this meeting because I'm saying to you right now, I trust you. And as president of the OAA, I have always trusted this board to do what is right for the children in this district. However, how do I maintain trust in you if you can't uphold what's in the OAA contract or the OEA contract? And I know from speaking to Mrs. Pisa, she neither has seen this calendar. So I trust that you've put a wonderful calendar together, but you've just taken another step back in building approachability and building relationships and a positive school culture.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? You're only public. Anything to say? No, okay.
Hi.
You can comment on it if you want. Any old business?
I have some old. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go first, but I want to...
So I just wanted to call everyone's attention to, oh, you can't see it. All right, you get it? We have a new screen, a projector screen.
Nice.
But it's covered, so it's behind there. Trust me when I say that it is an awesome screen. It's, you know, has the larger width now, so everything will be in either movies or 16:9 ratio, and so your larger landscape PowerPoint slides will now all fit on the screen, and it extends further down, so we won't have a shadow. It's also closer, so we can utilize it you know, completely, and I believe we had the projector recalibrated so that it's now optimized. And I say all that because there are other things that we can still do here in the auditorium that, you know, are desperately needed. As an example, these spotlights and lights up in the stage, and these items are becoming very popular lately with the emphasis on STEAM, STEAM being the evolution of STEM, with adding arts. A lot of schools have received grant money from private institutions as well as the state to enhance their auditoriums to incorporate STEAM-related activities. And so I was hoping that maybe either Dr. Ansel or John, if you can look into maybe get a grant writer to see what we can do in terms of upgrading the lighting here or some of the sound. I know we have new speakers and you know, mics, but you can always use more mics for the plays, and they have a lot of software now that integrates all the different components, the lighting, the sound, and you know, you hit like a tablet and it creates a theme, and it makes things very easy to use, even for kids. And you can incorporate that into learning, and I just think that would be a good opportunity to really take care of two things at once, because we're zeroing in on the seats and the paint and other aesthetic areas in this room, and it would be nice if we can also have that modern equipment. That's all I have.
I do. I would just like to comment. I don't even know what to say about the comment about the calendar. I don't know what to do with that information. You know, we've sat here, I don't know, you know, I'm a little bit dumbfounded, and I don't think we've done that before, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable. You know, we're a team in this school.
So as it's a contract issue, we are going to actually discuss it in closed session.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So should we hold off on approving that now until the... Okay. because I'm in agreement with Nancy.
I feel
I'm
uncomfortable.
And I just think as we talk about approachability and we talk about these things that perhaps being that this will be public, as of the time of this meeting, that it makes sense that if we have to have something talked about in closed door, that if there is some resolution, that be made public too as quickly as possible so that it's handled properly.
Any other old business? Mrs. Walker?
On a happy note, somewhere I read, was it the Community Flash? But congratulations anyway, excuse me, to fifth grader Sonia Veldhouse, who came in first place in the middle school division in the annual writing contest. Ms. Bozios, am I correct? And she was also runner-up in the national competition from 22 states. So that's something that, with all we do, with every other thing with paperwork, this is something that affects our students, and I don't know where else. Maybe we could have her come to a board meeting and award her with some kind of recognition. I think that's beautiful. And if we look at how far we've come from my 8 years sitting on this board, that language arts and writing, of all things, was considered priority. And we struggled for quite a while. And thanks to our administration and all of our teachers, look where we've come. Not only this one student, but now how far we've come in all our testing. So anyway, congratulations to Sonia, and I request that we can arrange to have her come so we can honor her publicly at a meeting.
Anyone else? Mrs. Norrie?
Can I just clarify, because it seems to me that all the comments that we've made are really new business and not old business.
We kind of mush it all together.
Yeah, it just got a little confusing there, so.
Mr. Marmano will hash it out in the minutes.
Okay.
I'm not sure how old this news was, so that's why
I'm referring to all of it,
Okay.
not necessarily that.
In the meantime, while we're talking about new business, Mr. Darian, would you like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Walsh's applicable travel expenses for his judge training for Odyssey of the Mind for January 18th?
I make a motion that we approve travel for Mr. Walsh for training so he could be a better judge
January 18th.
on January
I
18th.
could definitely use that.
Second
by Mrs. Walker. Any questions?
Put a limit on it.
Call the question.
Mr. Griffin?
Yes.
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Mrs. Norrie?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Abstain.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Any other old or new business? Mrs. Levy?
I have something, and I know that we've discussed this a lot, but I know that this board takes pride in the social emotional learning program that was implemented in the schools. And so we had a wonderful presentation a couple of board meetings ago. But after spending almost 2 weeks home with lots of children from the district, I was happy to hear that the language that's being used in the social emotional learning is being used outside of the school. And on no fewer than 3 occasions did I hear a parent and or a student talk about, are they being dangerous or destructive? And another student will say, heck, we learned about that in Open Circle in school. And they were taking it out toward, and using it outside of school. And I thought that that was wonderful to hear as both a parent and a board member. And I thought it would be good for our administration to hear that as well.
Mr. Griffin?
New business. I just wanted to commend the staff. I went to my first Winter Songfest this year, and that's a crazy experience, right? But you guys do a fantastic job. Everyone that's involved. I really felt the holiday spirit, but there I did, and it was really magical. So thank you guys for sharing that with the kids here and with me. I really appreciate what you did.
You rarely feel the holiday spirit?
I rarely feel, bah humbug, that's me usually. No, this time of year, like it's, there's just stresses and things like that, I'll just be honest. And that moment was one of the best of the season, so I really appreciate it.
Good. Anything else? Mrs.
One
Walker?
more under new business. The Oradell Emerson Rotary is having a free Narcan training Thursday, January 16th, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Riverdale High School in the cafeteria. It will be into small groups, but those that would like to attend, and we encourage you to, you need to call ahead, okay? And I'm not sure if it went out on an e-blast, Dr. Ansel. Was this approved to go out to parents?
Yes.
Okay.
I approved it. I don't know if it's gone out yet.
Okay, all right, great. But if anyone's interested, it really is very beneficial, and they'll even be giving away small Narcan kits to certain folks. So it's really, it affects everyone, not only just certain groups. So that's a week from Thursday night, January 16th, 6:30 to 8, Riverdale High School. Please register ahead.
Any other questions or business comments? Okay, so if someone would like to make a motion to go into closed session for personnel issues?
So moved.
So Mrs. Norian, Mr. Walsh, I think you seconded every motion tonight.
Well, I talked to Gene, and Gene said that if I'm not around.
He
to
said,
second
keep it up. So we'll be going into a closed session. Could last a while, but we will not be coming out and taking any action, so basically, we're done. I don't know, I think, who set that up? Greg?
John turned it on.
Oh, John turned it on.
Good to see you, my friend.
Do you feel action?